There are several cryptocurrency scams in the blockchain space. Some of the most common include fake exchanges, fake giveaways, social media phishing, copy and paste malware, phishing emails, and Ponzi schemes. On this episode of Crypto Talk Tuesday, we're going to briefly discuss some ways to identify these common types of crypto scams and help keep your cryptocurrency holdings safe and sound. Let's get scholarly. Welcome to another Crypto Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Mario Johnson, president of Crypto Scholars LLC. And as I said before, tonight we're going to dig into the world of crypto scams. I've been seeing a lot of just weird posts popping up here lately. That's clear-cut scams, like the textbooks scams, on a lot of different social media platforms, a lot of ads that have been coming up on YouTube, a lot of fake live events that have been kind of going through, and just kind of wanted to give you guys a little insight and a little hopefully a little knowledge on how to be able to identify these scams, because I've had a few friends that have kind of fallen victim to them. It was kind of weird, thankfully, they was able to ask me about it before they got in too deep. And I was able to give them a little bit of, a little bit of information and provide them with some tools on how to properly research, the particular project that they were supposedly getting involved in. But it's very interesting how easy it is, I guess you could say, that for people to fall prey to a certain scam, especially when it's involving cryptocurrency. I think mainly because of the fact that for a lot of people, this is a new space, and it's almost as if just, all logic goes out of the window when you're dealing with something that you just aren't 100% or not comfortable with. I'm not gonna say 100% because we're never going to be 100% with anything, but just something that you're not comfortable with. So as a result of that lack of comfort, that lack of, advanced knowledge, you just kind of just throw all common sense out of the window and just kind of, fall for any and everything. It's unbelievable how that works. So like I said, just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of information, kind of help you out when it comes to being able to identify a scam. I said we're going to go through the different types, from the Ponzi schemes to, the giveaway scams. The giveaway scams are the biggest ones. Those are Ponzi schemes and giveaway scams. Those are two of like the worst ones that I've seen so far. We've had a few rug pull, exit scam type situations. But the 1 and 2 punch seems to be the Ponzi schemes. So as always, before we get started, I'm doing much better at remembering to give my this is not financial advice disclaimer. So let's go ahead and get that out. Let's get the the legal jargon out of the way to make sure we're covered, and then we can get into it. So the information contained herein is for informational and or educational purposes only. Nothing shall be construed to be financial, legal, or tax advice. The content of this video is solely the opinions of myself, who is not a licensed financial advisor or registered investment advisor. Trading cryptocurrencies possess a considerable risk of loss. Please understand that. And me, nor Crypto Scholars LLC, offer any guarantee of any particular outcome. So let's talk about these scams and why y'all keep falling for them. I think it's more so, and we'll start with the Ponzi scheme scam. I think that's more so a play on your emotions. They play on the want for people to come into a lot of money without having to do a lot of work, or without having to kind of go through the process of allowing it to grow. A lot of people just want to get that quick hit, that get rich quick scheme. A lot of people seem to want to do that, and it I guess it helps you become easier prey to someone who's looking to orchestrate, some type of scam, like a Ponzi scheme. So first thing I want to do is let's talk about it. Ponzi schemes started before crypto itself. It relies on the premise of paying out old users, which is the initial investors, with the money that is being brought in from the new users, which is why there's always a a situation where, in order for you to even become a part of the quote unquote investment, and I put my fingers up a little early, you have to make a commitment to bring in additional people. I think one of the, not related to crypto, but one of the schemes that was going around last year, right around the initial lockdown phase, was when people were doing that circle board game, where you had to, in order for you to, I think you had to buy in at a certain price point, and in order for you to move up, you had to bring in like two or three people, and then they had to bring in more people, and they had to bring in more people, and if they didn't continue to bring in more people, it just broke down. And that was kind of one of the what do you want to say, one of the points of fine print, is that, hey, if you don't bring in your people, you can't expect to get paid. Well, that's classic Ponzi scheme. That's how pyramid Ponzi scheme works. That it requires you to bring in more people in order to keep it going. But one thing that you guys have to understand is that, in order for the Ponzi itself, I'm not gonna say in order for it, but at some point it becomes too big. It becomes unsustainable, and it's inevitably going to collapse on top of itself. So what I did was I went ahead and got a simple diagram for you guys to kind of give you an idea of how it actually works, how the pyramid actually works, if you don't already understand that. But the the way it's designed, the way it's set up, excuse me, the way it's set up is that, as you see it from top, you have the initial schemer, the person who actually came up with the scheme itself. Now, as it says here for number one, because we're going down the different layers of the scheme, in the first month, the schemer takes, and we're going to use $1,000 as an example. So the schemer takes $1,000 each from the first two investors. So here you have those first two investors. They each put in $1,000. Now they've given the original creator of the Ponzi scheme $2,000. So now he has $2,000 in his pocket. But what he's doing is, he's promising them a return. So as we go down to the second bullet point, it says, having pocketed the $2,000, the schemer needs to find $4,000, which is basically four new investors in the second month, in order to pay the returns promised to the initial investors. So now the problem is that, say, he got somebody to pay in $1,000, and he's promising them, oh, you'll get 50% return guaranteed. So you put $1,000, I'm promising that you're going to get $500 next month, and then it's going to continue on. That allows me, as if I was, being the schemer or whatnot, to take my $500 off the top, of that $1,000 they just gave you. I get to pocket that, and all I got to do is either me go out and find some new investors, or, as we talked about with the circle game, I convince you to go find some new investors. Again, one of the requirements for being involved could be you got to bring in more people. And the way that's going to continue to grow is, as you see for the third set, they bring in more people. The initial investors bring in more people, and they bring in more people, and they bring in more people. Now, here's the thing. It says that by the 10th round, and this is basically just going off of a exponent of 2, and it continues to grow. 2 turns to 4, turns to 8, turns to 16, turns to 32, so on and so forth. It says by the 10th round, the Ponzi schemer would need to find a group of 1,024 investors. By the 18th round, they would need to have come up with over 250,000 investors. So again, as it continues to grow, as more people continue to come into the scheme, it's going to get too big. There's only so many people, within an initial network. There's only so many people that's going to be willing to buy into it. So, of course, the higher up you are in the ladder, the higher up you are on the pyramid, the greater the chance of you getting a payout at some point. But you have to remember, somebody's got to be at the bottom, and that when that bottom comes, those are the people who are, as we like to say, left holding the bag. Now, one real famous Ponzi scheme that left a lot of people holding the bag was the BitConnect scam. That is still infamous to this day. I think they just released and an article, a press release saying that the SEC has actually sued 5 more people in connection to the BitConnect scam because it was huge. Like you see here, in summary, it was a $2.6 billion Ponzi scheme that scammed 1.5 million people. Now, here's the crazy part. So, the risk-free returns of 91% to 571% were promised per year. That should be, we talked about this before in previous videos. That should be a red flag off the beginning. If anyone's guaranteeing you a return, especially a return of almost double your money minimum on any type of investment, I don't care what it is, that should raise so many questions in your head to the point to where you probably wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, regardless of where you would be, early investor or not. Because truth be told, unless you were one of the people who actually orchestrated the scheme, you have no idea where they are in regards to how many people they've already suckered into joining in, so on and so forth. So if they're promising you 91, again, almost double your money promised, it's not possible. You can almost be guaranteed that something bad is going to come out of that one. And then it says here, compound interest means that within 10 years, the BCC lenders, which I think was the BitConnect coin, lenders would have been richer than Drake. So basically, everybody would have been, billionaires. We know that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all, and that's so sad. I hate to see that it turned out that way. One of the ones that Ponzi scheme that I was actually just presented with, and I did my best to black out the person's name here for to keep them directly private, but it's this Bitcoin mining investment that people seem to be jumping into, which is unbelievable. They tell you that you're buying into some type of cloud mining contract, and they buy all the equipment, you know, and you're going to get, as you can see on here, it says 100% real. My profit, $9,000, has just been paid to my bank account. Whoa, this is 100% real and legit. You notice how they're continuously trying in the comment here to convince you that it's real. It's like, man, and they're playing on emotions, and the oh my gosh, it's almost as if, oh man, you won't believe it. I can't believe I came across this, and then they're continuously trying to, again, convince you of how legit it is. When something is legit and something is really speaks for itself, I'm gonna put that out there, first and foremost. I don't have to convince you of anything. All I have to do is present you with the information and allow you to make an informed decision. There's no convincing necessary. It will speak for itself. And again, there was a few other posts made by this person in regards to this one particular cloud mining scam, which this one says Bitcoin mining, but it's they basically just recycle the scams dating all the way back from 2013. It comes out 2013. And basically, every time there's a Bitcoin halving and the price begins to spike, here comes that cloud mining scam. So there was a couple other posts made by this exact same person who and I guess they made a video, and you can tell that one, they don't do a lot of reading, but two, they were actually reading from a script. Sadly, the person had on glasses, and you could literally see the reflection from the phone of the script that they were reading on the glasses, and it sounded like it was a robot. It's like, and I'm just going to use that post for example. Oh my gosh, the Bitcoin mining is 100% real. My profit, $9,000, has just been paid. Like, it was literally being said like that. And I'll be honest with you guys. How many of you all, if you're speaking on something that you've truthfully experienced, and you're really giving a testimony, are going to say it in that way? You're going to talk as if you're normal. Especially, and one thing I've noticed too, if you've genuinely come across some true profit and you wholeheartedly, be it a scam or not, unbeknownst to you, it may be, but you wholeheartedly are trying to, you know, get people in on it because you want them to truly benefit from, this opportunity that you just came across. First of all, you're just going to tell it to them. I'm going to tell it to you from the heart. Like, when I first got into crypto and, I discovered the Bitcoin white paper. I read it online. I started getting books as over my little library over there. I got Andres Antonopoulos Mastering Bitcoin book. I started reading it, started reading the Mastering Ethereum book, started looking into Solidity, started really doing research into cryptocurrency, crypto assets. When I was telling people about that, you can see it. You can see how passionate I was about it. You can tell that it wasn't as if someone kind of paid me to you get what I'm saying? It wasn't like a paid advertisement. It was, hey man, you know, I'm studying up on this, this new asset class, potential asset class, which is now is being considered an asset class, known as Bitcoin and crypto assets, cryptocurrency. And from what I'm looking at, man, this is pretty legit. I've been looking over the data, and so basically it'll be coming across like that. It wouldn't be as if, I'm reading, oh my gosh, this is so real, period. Um, I just got paid in my bank account, 100 real and legit. Yeah. Thank you for referring me, lady. you know, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be coming across that way. So needless to say, those are kind of the current, like that's the most current Ponzi scheme that's going around. In addition to, the coded Ponzi scheme, I had talked about Safe Moon and some of the other ones. I think it was another one that came after Shiba Inu. Um, it kind of grew from that. I think it was called R ETH, like rug ETH or something like that. Don't quote me on it. I had to look it up. But basically, what they did was they created a coin to get back at Vitalik Buterin, the founder, one of the original founders of Ethereum, because he basically tried to dump as much Shiba Inu as he could, because they, he was involuntarily given a huge supply of it. So he dumped it on the market and he cashed out as much as he could. He emptied out the liquidity pools at that time and he donated it all to charity. Well, there was a group who decided they didn't appreciate that. So what they did was they started a new coin, kind of like a clone of Shiba Inu, which ironically is a clone of Doge, but we're not going to go there. But needless to say, they the purpose of the coin was to get revenge on Vitalik. And what they said was they were, um, going to convert all the Ethereum that people put in and swapped out for their coin. They were going to burn it into BNB, which is Binance's coin. And come to find out, I think not even 2 weeks after they came out with that, they got out. It was a scam, a pure scam, and that was just horrible. So I said all that. I know I kind of segue. You guys know I segue a lot, but needless to say, those are kind of the current pyramids, the current Ponzi schemes that are floating around right now. Be very, very cautious of that. I'm going to show you guys this one more time. Be very, very cautious of these crypto mining scams because that's truly what they are. You have absolutely no way of verifying that they actually are investing the money into mining equipment. You have no idea what these people are doing. All you know is, hey, my buddy made some money. He told me about it. Well, that's kind of how a Ponzi scheme works. In order for them to get a payout, they have to bring in, I'm not going to say new suckers, but they have to bring in new people to bring in their money. And then in order for you to get a payout, you have to bring in new people. Forsage is another one that's literally set up that way. It's actually listed on Etherscan as a Ponzi scheme. So that's the one. that's what I want to talk about in regards to Ponzi schemes. Now, next, let's circle over to the giveaway scams. Now, giveaway scams are interesting because what happens is that basically the creators of that scam are trying to convince you to send them money in order for you to receive money back in return, but you're going to send back more. I'm sorry, you're going to receive back more than you send in. Okay, first red flag, because just business 101. If I'm sending more than I'm receiving, at some point I'm going to run out of money. So if my promise as a scammer, if I've created a giveaway scam, is, hey, I need you to send in X amount of Bitcoin. And there was one recently since Cardano took off. I need to send in X amount of Cardano, and you'll in turn receive. Say if you send in half Bitcoin, I'll send you back 5 Bitcoin. How's the math add up? Some people were like, well, this billionaire, or this, yeah, they always get you. They say this billionaire is feeling really generous, and they're doing a giveaway, and it's like, come on, seriously, what billionaire is going to do that type of giveaway? What they do is, of course, it has to be a tax write-off, so they're just going to create a nonprofit organization. They're going to do philanthropic work, or however you say the damn word. They're going to be philanthropists, and they're going to create a foundation or donate to a foundation. That way they have true receipts showing that the donation was real. If I'm just randomly giving out things, come on, man, that's not how it works in this world. So some of the most recent ones, they had one with Elon Musk, was evidently doing a 500 plus 5,000 BTC giveaway. And then they had Shamath Palihapitiya doing a giveaway. I think there was one with the Woz. Steve Wozniak was supposedly doing a giveaway. And of course, Elon Musk again doing a giveaway. Now, here's the thing. When you look at these things, the first key takeaway is that they were always live. They were always live. They weren't videos that were on a channel. I guess if you're doing a giveaway or whatever, it's supposed to be live. That's the first thing. Second thing is that look at the famous people that they were using. Again, Elon Musk is not going to do this. Shamath Palihapitiya, Steve Wozniak, they're not going to do something on this level. Yeah, especially not through YouTube. I mean, come on, And so it's almost like how can I say it? I want to make sure. I mean, what the hell? It's like you got to be dumb as hell to fall for some shit like that. Honestly, I was trying to be politically correct, but at the end of the day, that's just dumb. Like seriously, Now, what I guess again, it goes back to what I was saying with people being very new to the space, not truly understanding it, and because they don't have a grasp on it, just all common sense just goes out of the window, because these people are making hundreds of millions of dollars off these types of scams. Again, they're playing on the fact that people think that they're going to get rich quick. They're really, I think some people are just in a desperate situation, and they're hoping for that miracle, and in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Everything that I say is just my opinion. Outside of healing, if you have an accident or something like that, or, being saved from something, like a tragic event, miracles don't work that way. Especially that's probably like a 1 in a billion type situation for the most part. When it comes to finances and getting in a better position financially, it doesn't work that way. You have to actually do some work. You have to actually, what they say, the things you do today put you where you're going to be tomorrow. and where you are today is where you were yesterday, is based off of what you did yesterday, it's true, you know. Um, so I think that's how people fall into the trap of the giveaways and the Ponzi schemes and things like that, because they're just in a desperate situation and they're hoping this is the miracle. They're hoping this is the thing that's you know it's my turn. I've been waiting on this to happen, but you haven't done anything for it to happen other than get scammed. It doesn't work that way. So and I apologize if I potentially offended somebody, but I'm being honest. You gotta be dumb as hell to fall for this type shit. You know, that's just the best way I can say it. All right, so let's move on to the next type of scam, which is it's called a phishing scam. And what happens is basically what they do is they try to get you to hand over sensitive data um, that is used to access your crypto. So what most things what most common types of phishing scams is basically through email. They'll send you an email. They've somehow or another gotten access to your email address, and they gotten access to your email address through like a data breach. So they understand that you are participating in this particular type of exchange, or you may have this particular type of wallet, and they create an email that's similar to an email that would normally come from your exchange or your wallet, and it's saying like, hey, click here, you know we made some updates to our your user account, or we've changed our policy, our privacy policy, so click here to update your information, enter in your password to update your information, or give us your private key so that we can secure it, give you a secure update. And when you fall for things like that because they look legit, um, they wipe out your account. It happens with people in banking. With crypto, it's not as easy if you self custody like I do, if you have your Ledger wallet. But hell, we even got to a situation where Ledger's information was hacked, where they had a data breach. And believe it or not, a ton of the emails were exposed in that data breach, mine being one of them, where to the point that I actually received an email from Ledger advising that this was the case. Now, fortunately for me, I don't use the same um, email address that I have linked to um, my crypto information. I have a totally separate phone, have totally separate, accounts, the whole nine. Unfortunately, I was able to do a little bit of research prior to, prior to truly becoming a crypto investor and understanding what a lot of the risks were, so that, I was able to take the steps to, put myself in a secure position, a more secure position. Nothing's 100%, nothing's foolproof, but I was able to put myself in a position to where if my personal data, my personal information, which in the case with Ledger, had gotten revealed, it wasn't going to interfere with anything that I was doing from my crypto holdings perspective, because of the fact that all of that stuff is separated. I even, believe it or not, I was even SIM swapped because of it wasn't the Ledger situation. It's Facebook. Facebook had a leak, and it released, phone numbers, addresses, email addresses, and I actually got SIM swapped. I received a letter. Damn it, I should have had the letter with me, but I received a letter from my T-Mobile, from my phone provider, confirming, you know, I mean, it was months later, but confirming that, yeah, your information was breached, and unfortunately, you were a victim of a SIM swap. It happened at like 3 a.m. I get up the next day and realize that, phone didn't work. Fortunately, again, for me, my phone is actually set up through one of my businesses that I run. So it wasn't directly tied to my personal information. They just got the phone number. And through the phone number, the way that those guys do it is they'll call and they'll probe the representative for some for information, get one piece, hang up, call back, probe, hang up, call back, so on and so forth. So, needless to say, thankfully, you know, they weren't able to get any of my important information because one, I use separate devices, totally separate account information. But two, I also, and I want you guys to pay really close attention to this, I use 2FA, two-factor authentication, which isn't send me a text message, because that's how they get a lot of people, is through SMS. So if they do a SIM swap on you, then they can do I forgot my password and request the code via SMS, and that's how they can take over your account. There was one guy. Let me show you guys here. And this was, it wasn't because of a phishing email. It was from a fake wallet, which we're going to get to that. But he lost 1,400 Bitcoin because of a SIM swap and an SMS issue, which was so bad. 1,400 Bitcoin. That's millions. Shit. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I think at the time it was a few $1,000,000, but that's a lot. That, you know, I probably cry in the car. I'll be honest with you. I probably cry in the car. But let's see. Let me give you guys some examples of the phishing emails and what they would look like. So this is one here where, you know, it looks like it's coming from a legit place. Now, certain things you have to pay attention to. One, it's another one of those giveaways, you know, airdrop program. Interesting. So when you see that, yes, airdrops do happen, but you're not going to only hear about it via email. You're going to hear about it, you know, through the actual companies. They're going to do a press release. You know, it's going to be widely promoted, you know, across crypto Twitter and other areas. So you're going to be able to research that prior to just clicking the email. So another thing too, it's saying here that, you know, by confirming this airdrop, you'll receive 0.05 wrapped Bitcoin. At the time, currently $570. And they always put some type of, you know, act now. You know, there has to be a call to action where it says this link will expire after 48 hours. So it puts that sense of urgency into your head to try to keep you from doing a little bit of due diligence and, you know, background checking and confirming whether or not this is legitimate. So that's one thing you should definitely pay attention to. Another thing, is I think I have it here, is they'll put similar to like the other one, where it'll be that click here, you know, failure to do so may result in cancellation of your local Bitcoin account. It's that sense of urgency. You know, it's that, you know, if you don't act, if you don't do something right now, something bad is going to happen as an effect of that. So, you know, they play on the psyche. They always try to play on your psyche. Another good example, which I don't have pulled up, but I'll just tell you guys, is verify the email address. That's really big. Verify the email address. Because like saying like your Gmail account, you know, when you pull that up, it'll show you. And I'm looking, I'm gonna see if I can pull up my Gmail real quick. I'll just pull up an email that I sent to myself. Let's see. Because it will show you the two. You know, it'll show you the to and from. So when you click down and you go into the from, it'll actually say, you know, from such and such at such and such.com. Well, say like in the example that we gave with the blockchain.com, if you look at the from and it says blockchain.com at gmail.com, that's a dead giveaway. That's not a legitimate email. You guys probably have seen that before when you're dealing with certain types of spam. You know, the first thing you can look for is that from email address. Confirm it, verify it, because it's called spoofing. Is what happens, and they're able to spoof the email address to make it appear as if it came from, in that case, blockchain.com, because it'll say blockchain.com, you know, as the name of the individual. But when you actually look at that email address, it'll be some crazy, you know, such and such at gmail.com. No, Actual companies don't use Gmail. They don't use personal domain names as email addresses. Gmail, Yahoo, AOL. I think the MSN, if MSN is still out, but things like that. It doesn't happen. Those are not situations where you're going to run into legitimate emails. All right, this is the one that I was talking about next up on my list that I want to let you guys know about with the fake wallets, with the guy who lost 1,400 Bitcoin. So we're running into some new situations where you're getting in the app stores, Google Play Store is one where, they'll actually publish a fake wallet. In the case, I think the one of the big ones was the MetaMask fake wallet. As you can see here, that's not the real MetaMask company. And they'll even have fake reviews. Now, from this example, it's got 5 stars from 2 people. MetaMask is huge. MetaMask is not going to be, and also too, MMask Inc. Who the hell is that? Peggy 3. What is that? Who are these? So there's a lot of, and I personally use MetaMask, and it's a amazing way to, do quick swaps if you're using a decentralized exchange, Uniswap, Bancor, hell, even Binance Smart Chain with PancakeSwap uses MetaMask now. So it's a large platform that's used by a lot of somewhat advanced people in the crypto space. So when you see something like that, what I just showed you guys, the fake wallet, pay close attention. You have to pay very, very, very close detail, or pay very, very close attention to the detail. I always say the devil's in the details. Pay attention to those details. This is one way that it can help you become a lot better at, basically the crypto world. Security is everything. Treat your crypto the same way you treat your bank account. Hopefully you're not loose with your bank account. Hopefully you're not loose with your credit, debit card, your checking account information. Treat it like it's your social security number. Hopefully you don't just randomly give people your social security numbers info. Be as, tedious, be as what's the word? Critique it all. Um I want to find the word. It's a word where you basically, you're pessimistic. There's no, no. You start with no and go from there. But that's one of the things. Now here is the actual thread of this guy. Hold on, let me show you. Dang it, what am I doing? There we go. My mouse had got stuck there. Sorry, guys. But as you see here, he put, I lost 1,400 BTC via the same method described above. And the method described above was there's an Electrum wallet update that took away, it was a fake wallet, and people were falling victim to it. So this guy said, I had 1,400 BTC in a wallet that I had not accessed since 2017. I foolishly installed the old version of the Electrum wallet. His coins propagated. He attempted to transfer 1 Bitcoin, however, was unable to proceed. A pop-up display stating he was required to update his security prior to being able to transfer funds. He installed the update, which immediately wiped out his account. That's horrible. That's one thing that you do. I use Ledger Live to manage, for those who uses a Ledger. I use Ledger Live. I personally try to stay away from software-based wallets. I'll use the exchanges, but that's only when I'm looking to sell. Whenever I'm in a situation where I'm ready to sell some crypto, I'll move my assets over to an exchange. But outside of that, everything lives on my hardware wallet. Because one thing about software, it can and will get hacked. There's no 100% way of securing it. So if all your assets are stored on, a wallet on your phone, a wallet on your computer, anything that's it's not something that you can physically disconnect. It's at risk. It's truly at risk. And one thing I like about the hardware wallets is they give you your passphrase seed. You write it down on a piece of paper or in a stone book, or something that's indestructible. You put it in a safe deposit box. You put it somewhere where it's not readily accessible or easy accessible, and you leave it there and you never touch it again until you absolutely need to do a restore. You know, that's the only time you will bring that information back out. That's the best way. With the software wallets, unfortunately, your passphrase is stored on that device, in the registry, is a supposedly secure location on that device, but everything that's, digital can be hacked. So you guys remember that. Please remember that. So that's the malicious wallets section that I want to talk about. And last thing I want to just go over in regards to the different methods that are used by scammers is the exit scams and the rug pulls. I kind of touched on that a little earlier when I was giving the description of the Ponzi schemes. I kind of threw a few exit scams in there as examples. Again, what was it? I can't remember the actual name of it, but it was like a R ETH. It was a rug pull ETH or no rug pull ETH or some crap. No rug pulls, some stupid ass coin. Anyway, so let's talk about first of all, let's go over exactly what an exit scam is. So in short, an exit scam is a fraudulent practice by unethical cryptocurrency promoters who vanish with investors' money during or after an ICO. Now, I have talked about some of the red flags that you look for when evaluating a crypto project. And we've always talked about, the team. Is it a transparent team? Are they easy to research? Can you look up their bios? Can you confirm, their past work history, their past experience, things of that sort? Because if the team is anonymous, there's a good chance, that you don't have outside of, now this is just one, because we all know that Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, ran under a pseudonymous name, but it also, he, she, them, also produced a lot of information so that you can verify everything that was being said. So, although Satoshi operated under a pseudonymous name, he, she, or them made themselves very available. They didn't disappear until they understood that Bitcoin was in safe hands, and it was okay to go ahead and step back from the project. So in other cases, where the team is hard to identify, the team is, the members of the team are hard to locate and verify, and their roadmap isn't clear. They it's really hard. The white paper makes no sense. When you're trying to research it and you're looking over the white paper and you're like, what the hell is this? It actually makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. What they're saying, it's not clear cut. Those are some red flags in regards to identifying the potential of a rug pull. Another one, going back to the phishing emails that I missed, and I want to thank Chantel for pointing that out, is to be wary of typos in the messages. A lot of times there will be some typos on certain words. The grammar may be a little bit off. Just kind of things, and we know that when there's a publication coming out from a reputable source, they're going to ensure that those small little details are all met. The next thing they're talking about in regards to identifying the red flags on a potential exit scam / rug pull is extravagant returns. We talked about that with the Ponzi scheme, with the pyramid scheme. They're promising you 100% return minimum, guaranteed. Who can produce that? There's no way you can. There's no way you can do that. Example that they said here in January 2018, BitConnect abruptly shut down its lending and exchange services after experiencing a meteoric rise in burgeoning client base since its ICO in December 2016. The market cap of BitConnect which exceeded 2.9 billion at its height in 2017, suddenly tanked to 17 million. Why? Because it couldn't sustain itself. It had no choice but to collapse in on itself. It grew too big. All right, next thing, documentation standards. We just talked about that. The white paper. The white paper is a key document that details how a cryptocurrency project is designed and developed, how it evolved, and how it will generate business. Incomprehensible, unclear, ambiguously written white papers are a big red flag to investors about a potential exit scam. One of the videos we did not too long ago when we talked about shitcoins, we actually looked over the white paper for Shiba Inu, and it made absolutely no sense. I even we skipped down to the roadmap, and they literally put in the white paper that they were keeping their roadmap to themselves because they didn't want, what they said, to protect the project from copycats. And it's like, you got to be kidding me, man. You can't even say what your projections are for your project, in the future. You don't have to give the entire playbook, but at least let your investors know, what your plans are moving forward. That's very important. There's no reason for that. One more thing, it says heavily promoted offerings. We've seen this before in regards to, there's this huge marketing campaign that goes out. They have content influencers. Every time you turn around, there's a promoted ad. What do you call it? A promoted tweet or something like that. Sponsored ad. That's really pumping. There's this push, and I actually, let me see, last summer, I actually invested in a ICO. And for those who don't know, ICO stands for initial coin offering. It's similar to an IPO, initial public offering, except that it's not on the stock exchange. It's just a cryptocurrency. And, they did they did the job, in regards to marketing the hell out of it. And I was, still new to the ICO thing, and, basically just kind of trusted the people who had gave me the information related to the project. And I'd be damned. It came out, and it pumped. It did a 4x, but after that it crashed. I bought in at 1 cent. It pumped up to 4 cent. Hasn't seen a penny since. It crashed to below a penny, and it hasn't gotten back to over a penny since. Fortunately, I was able to, I say fortunately, I feel bad for those who weren't. But fortunately, I was able to identify what the hell was going on, and I was able to cash out without taking any losses whatsoever. So that was a good thing. But, again, we all learn. This is how we learn. I'm not afraid to let you guys know about the mistakes that I've made when it comes down to, I guess, being a victim of a scam, a potential scam, because I hate to say we've all done it, but a lot of the OGs in the crypto space, there wasn't a lot of information out there. And the only way to identify a problem is to go through that problem, or to have gotten information from someone who's going through that problem, so I can say that I had invested into a exit scam, but I was able to get out of the exit scam before the exit scam got me. So I'll say it that way. So, very thankful, very blessed about that. But I want to share with you guys some of the, before we wrap up here, some of the past exit scams. PlexCoin, $15 million scam back in 2017. You got Benebit, up to $4 million scam. Opera EBITs, 2.9 million. Recoin, 300,000. That wasn't too bad. Here's the one right here, Ponzi coin. Even though it's just $250,000, which in the crypto space, in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot, it still scams somebody, which is weird. You know, it's the name Ponzi coin. It's all you need to know. You know, I think there was a one called One Coin. We saw a documentary about that. Um, and that was a huge scam where the creator of it evidently was promising that this was going to be bigger than Bitcoin. Look out for that. Anybody that tells you that their coin is bigger than Bitcoin, run from it. Run as far away from it as humanly possible. If you can't, if it's new, first and foremost, and also if you can't verify any information on it, if the only reason why it's bigger than Bitcoin is because everybody's saying it's bigger than Bitcoin, that doesn't mean it's going to be bigger than Bitcoin. You know, that just means that a lot of people believe. And unfortunately, in today's society, with humans, belief seems to trump fact. And the fact is that there is no bigger than Bitcoin. There is no better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the original. Everything else is literally just either a copy of Bitcoin or is trying to build off of what Bitcoin is already, the foundation that Bitcoin has already laid. So understand that, you know, there's a reason why when Bitcoin goes up 10%, the entire market goes up. If Bitcoin goes down 10%, the entire market goes down. There's a reason behind that. So understand that when people, you know, make these lavish promises, you know, telling you, hey, this is the next, grain of salt. Always take it with a grain of salt. So that's it for this evening. That's it for this Crypto Talk Tuesday. I really want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. I want to appreciate everybody for joining. Hopefully, this information, as always, is very beneficial and very helpful, and going to further your knowledge and further your journey in this this weird new universe that we call cryptocurrency, digital assets. I'm going to continue to provide you guys with as much information as I can. As you can see, you know, a lot of what I do is off the cuff. You know, it's not really scripted. You know, I have my little bullet points, but from there, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm giving it to you straight. You know, I'm giving it to you the way I digest it, the way that I process the information. So hopefully it's working for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. So as I like to do now, as Russell Simmons always say, thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night.